I'm just waiting for the day that comes when somebody will AI like the clone of me and my voice. I mean,
Well, get on to your agent
I
after the
gotta
show.
get on to my agent. You're listening to The Morning Show with Kathryn Thomas right here on Dublin's Q102. Now, you know me, love talking to women in business and kick-ass women in business. And my next guest is a business superstar who has managed the careers of Irish names like Elaine, Crowley and Karen Byrne, as well as international names like Andrew Fitzsimons and Amanda Byram, to name but a few. She's also been in charge of many, many models, Irish models, down through the years. And she is the brains behind what was First Option Model Agency. It's now First Management. Good morning, Jules Fallon. How are you?
Well, good morning. I want to hang out with this lady you just introduced. Thank you so much.
Listen, I have known you for years. And I mean, going back to the days where, you know, the models used to stand on Grafton Street in their bikinis, doing the photo calls, doing their photo shoots. I mean, I did the photo calls as well back in the day. Not so much the bikini clad ones, but now we've seen like the modelling world has changed so much. It's now the world of influencers. You and me were just chatting before we came on going, God, like we're kind of the old stock, you know, and now the world has changed. But first of all, talk to me about why change from First Options to First Management.
Well, when I set up 30 years ago, we would have used a terminology. Can I put a first option on that model? Can I put a second option and a third option? We would have models placed all over the world in different countries. We're like, okay, you can have the first. Okay, she's holding for Paris. You can have the second. You can have the third. So first option models, I thought was a cool name 30 years, but now nobody even uses the terminology option. Plus, it's not only models that we've been managing for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
We started with 5 models 30 years ago, and now I would say 25% of the business is dedicated to modelling because the modelling landscape has completely changed in Ireland, as we know.
Yeah.
And then the rest is lots of beautiful people like yourself, broadcasters, and we have incredible content creators and influencers and people who make brands. So we do kind of a multitude of management. So we felt we're the first in the business of doing lots of different things. So First Management seems to sit quite well for what's happening right now.
I love that. You were a model yourself back in the day.
It's hard to believe.
So how did you start and when did you start? And like, talk to me about the landscape then compared to where we are now. I mean, it's literally a different stratosphere.
Completely different. I will first by saying I do miss the olden days of what we all had as a fashion landscape in Ireland. I kind of fell into it. My parents encouraged me to do this grooming course on Grafton Street, the Anne Murray grooming course. And then I was promoted into the so-called modelling course. Now you get to pay for these courses, right? So I'm not so sure that my destiny was carved out on these particular courses. And then I met the beautiful, beautiful Rebecca de Havilland, presenting back then as Ross Talon, and was opening up the Talon Model Agency. So I was the first model to be encouraged to join the Talon Model Agency. So back then we were so busy doing fashion shows, fashion shoots. And now mind you, when we turned up to do a photo shoot, you might do 10 to 12 outfits and you'd be exhausted. Oh, I'm exhausted from looking gorgeous in 10 outfits today. Nowadays, we have to warn a lot of models. When you rock up to the studio, you got to do 40, 50 outfits because it's e-commerce. So the clients need, you know, fast movement. Give me the moves. A model has to work now, where back then it was really, I'm going to say it was a bit of a hobby. We had to
more
work
glamorous.
It was, well, apart from, as you pointed out, the bikinis on Grafton Street. Thankfully, I was never that model. I was never that, you know, gorgeous, perfect model. I was the kind of veggie girl. But yeah, it's evolved to change. A model could do 2 to 3 jobs in a day, 7 days a week. It was back-to-back campaigns, newspaper work, editorials, campaign shoots, 48-sheet posters. It was everything and more. And then the opportunity to work with like international clients, like Kathryn Thomas when their international designers came in, John Rocha, Michael Mortel. Like we had an array of international designers. We still do have some now. So the opportunities, I think, was very different because now we're in the age of digital. So that key opinion leader or that celebrity or that content creator influencer is definitely the area that a lot of brands want to spend their money.
And so how, if you are a model and that has been your career, you know, the change has been so huge. Now, as you say, everybody is looking, the world has gone influencer, it's gone content creator. How has that impacted the modelling world?
So at First Management, we try and encourage all of our models to pick up the phone, to start talking and start building what we would describe as their own community. Start being authentic. Share your life in the day of a model. Share what you're doing in studio. You know, give that education, give that entertainment, and give that inspiration. And some models do it really, really well, and then some models are a little bit shy of it. Everybody is their own brand nowadays. So, like, I always look internationally. There's two particular male models, Callum, and then he has a bestie from the UK. But this guy, Callum from London, red-headed, gorgeous guy, he is the expert on social media. He brings us to Paris and Milan. He is so much fun to watch. Now, we have a lot of models like Tio at First Management with her 2 kids, and she'll share her beauty regime. So if a model is open and they kind of lose the shyness, they can become really gifted and crafted at this. And then a lot of brands will want to use that model because they'll bring their own social as well. You got to be quite clever. You have to be more confident than ever before because it's multi-platform. But there's a huge potential of your own brand business that can kind of come out of it too.
And then how do you manage, you know, because like, do you worry about saturation as well? It's kind of, it's the world that I'm in now as well, you know, and it's kind of, there's so much that we do online. There's so much of our time that we spend online. How do you stand out from the crowd? And, you know, as somebody who manages all these content creators, how do you advise them in terms of the landscape of saturation?
Yeah, and fatigue, right? Like everybody is exhausted. I mean, personally, I have a lot of friends who've just shut down their social media because it is fatigue. We're being inundated with beauty, with fashion, shopping, wars, politics, and it does get exhausting. So I just, again, encourage everybody to start gently, not oversell, but just bring a little bit of lightheartedness, fun. Rather, we've content creators who travel a lot around Ireland, who bring their dogs to restaurants. I want to know about that. What restaurants? I have a doggy. Where can I go?
Yeah.
I think content that is interesting, it is authentic, and you have a USP, a unique selling point. Like Darren Kennedy, who I manage. Darren's on flights to New York, LA, back to Dublin for television work every month. I genuinely love watching him because I love where he's hanging out in LA. I love seeing him work. And
I want to know whose house. How does he get into all those houses? Where is he? Like, is he renting them? Is he minding them for people? Like, he just turns up in all these houses in the hills, and I'm like, who owns that house, Darren? I need to know this.
But
he
there
never
you go.
tells.
No, he never tells. But there you go. His content is really, really clever because he has people engaged, and then he'll teach us about fashion, about skincare. So it is about having a strategy, and it's not one fits all. So rather you're a dog lover, you love fashion, or you just love being a broadcaster, right? You're a really good broadcaster. In First Management, we've always kept it like a small boutique agency so we can give everybody the individual time. Like Katia Mia, like one of my superstars.
Love her.
I'm so proud of her. We start working with her during COVID days. And I'm so proud of how she has just evolved. An excellent broadcaster, I hope you don't mind me saying here today.
100%.
Beautiful broadcaster. And then she's evolving herself into like her own self-made brand. And again, because it comes from authenticity, she's got a story to tell, right? A beautiful black Irish girl who's really proud of her heritage, and she engages with that. She tells us the real life story of who she is. You know, so being true to yourself, being true to who you are, that will stand out, and that's where success comes from, I believe, as long as you got a bit the entertainment, the inspiration, and then the education too. That's what we all want. But we're nosy creatures, so keep feeding us.
Well, speaking about keep feeding us, you know, and we're all on Netflix now, and of course the big buzz was all around Reality Check, which followed the story of America's Next Top Model. Did you watch it?
So I watched the first episode of the documentary and I got bored.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Tyra. I got so bored because it's the same nonsense again. You know, I think that it just describes the fashion model industry as one type, and it's not just that. There is just so much more interesting opportunities and moments within the fashion modeling industry. I mean, when Tyra was creating that show, yes, of course, we all tuned in. We were all talking about it. It was like aspirational, right? I mean, we know television. You have to go big, loud, get people talking, and they did that. Does that happen every day in reality of our industry? Absolutely not. Of course it doesn't.
But I suppose what people then were picking up on, and the chatter was how detrimental it was to these girls' health, how they were manipulated, how they were used for entertainment.
Yeah. And you know the saying, you'll sell your soul to the devil. When ordinary people who don't come from television, I'm talking like the girl next door, the boy next door, when you're offered those opportunities, you do get a contract. In those contracts, it's basically saying, are you happy to sell your soul to the devil? They're not the exact words, but it's saying,
But that's what it says, right?
if there's highs, if there's lows, we have full control. And if you've got a great producer on set, they're going to be pulling out the dramatics because they want to get the figures. So that's why I'm saying it's not complete reality. And then I'm going to say, well, then after that, it's down to having a great agent. And that's why it's so important that you feel connected with your management team or your agency, because it's our job to protect whoever we're managing or whoever we're working with. So that's where I lean to the agents. Whenever I see talent splattered all over the press and not having a great day, I always look and go, where's the agent? Where's the manager? That is our job, to protect our people that we work with.
And when you think about, Jules, you look ahead to the next 30 years of the modelling industry. What do you think is on the horizon? Because we've seen such a huge sea change.
Yeah.
Where is it going next?
So that's a really interesting question. And of course, I'm having conversations with AI experts. You know, that's the next revolution. I'm trying to advocate where we lean into AI in our content creation side of our business, but we do not let it take over. And I really hope to God that it doesn't take over. I don't believe it will, because consumers are way more savvy. They're intelligent humans. We're not going to allow that to happen. I think we'll just all evolve into more online shopping, like we're seeing the likes of ChatGPT turning into an e-com store. So e-commerce will absolutely change. And I do think that all of us broadcasters, people in the entertainment business, we'll all become our shop storefront, our broadcaster. We'll become like a multimedia house. So if there's one bit of advice I'd give to anybody who's thinking about entering this whole industry, is content, content, content. If you've got an idea for a YouTube show, go create it. If you've got an idea to create a platform on social media, go do it. There is no time like the present.
I'm just waiting for the day that comes when somebody will AI like the clone of me and my voice. You know, I haven't all the different like David Attenborough and Matthew McConaughey. They're all patenting and protecting their voice.
Yes,
because it's being used for to sell and whatever else. I mean,
well, get on to your agent
I
after
gotta
the show.
Get on to my agent. Jules Fallon, thank you so much from First Management. Great to catch up with you this morning, and thanks for giving us the insight.
Thank you.